Welcome everyone to Dad's on Wrestling here on the Custody Teen Studios channel. I almost said the naughty word there. I am Jeff Meacham.
I am the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams.
And this is a very special show for us. No, we're not downstairs out in front of where we were last year when this whole thing got underway, but this is our 1 year anniversary. Renegade did his anniversary a couple days ago.
Yes.
I was part of that, and I appreciate you bringing me on for that, as we did a year ago.
Exactly.
And today's show is going to be interesting, I think, because we have a very... we're going to talk about Raw, we're going to talk about what's going on in WWE, but we have a very... We had an interesting conversation that popped in the house the other day before I left for the Kings event, and
let's try not to get too deep in that, because then we're going to end up with like an hour-long episode.
Yeah, I know, seriously, but it was a good talk that I think needs to be discussed.
Yes.
But
the Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame. We will get there.
Yes.
However, Raw this last Monday. What the fuck happened on that show? Seriously.
Raw the last couple weeks has been pretty lackluster with a couple of high spots.
It's true.
Most of the high spots contain the whole Cena-Kane feud that are going on.
Yes.
Which I got a question about Cena probably about a week or two ago on the YouTube channel. People asking me, why I badmouth him, and then I take steps back and I start talking positive about him. Mm-hmm. Let me just clarify, people.
For the 100th time.
Since apparently, the last couple weeks are the only episodes you've ever seen, you haven't gone back and done your homework.
Yeah.
I do not like the John Cena that stands at the top of the ramp, does his salute, runs and slides into the ring, and performs in the 20x20.
Performs.
I am overdone, beyond pissed off, tired, whatever you want to say. I am done with that John Cena. But the John Cena that marches back up that ramp, goes behind the curtain, gives back to the fans, the Make-A-Wish kids, all that stuff that John does behind the scenes when he's just being John and he's not a performer.
Stops in Vegas and makes sure that every single person that stopped for him... What? Oh, okay. I was saying, wait for what we do. It stops for us, and made sure that everybody that was sitting there, got an autograph or got a picture, got whatever. That John...
That's the guy that we like.
Yes, exactly.
When he does it on his own and isn't forced to.
And, I found out something about that, by the way. I was talking with a friend of mine, and she had found out that apparently, and this is, I haven't talked to John since Vegas, so I don't know. This whole smothering thing that Kane is doing is legit. Because Kane apparently has gone nuts.
Cool.
So, apparently, John's life is in danger.
There you go.
Okay, that's...
But that is my stance on John Cena.
John Cena between John Cena and John Cena, exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
I separate the man outside of the ring and the man inside of the ring.
As we do with everybody.
I do not like the man inside of the ring, but I have nothing but respect for the man outside. Moving on.
Brodus
Hopefully
Clay.
I don't get a question about that again.
Hopefully not. Brodus Clay.
The Funkasaurus.
The Funkasaurus. The Flash Funk Godfather combination. Oh my goodness.
Brodus, you should have just shut up.
Brodus, you should not let anybody know you were going to be the Jomo killer.
Seriously, because we all know that is why
That's exactly why
he is doing this gimmick.
Yep.
I called it, and it's since been confirmed.
Yep.
So,
unbelievable.
Brodus Clay, your newest PIMP.
Yeah. In a PG era.
Hopefully pretty soon he'll be a pimp in distress.
Right?
But do you know who his funkettes are?
I didn't see who they were now.
One of them is Naomi.
Seriously?
From NXT.
Uh-huh.
And the other one is the broad on Tough Enough that wanted to get into wrestling because she was inspired by Melina versus Alicia Fox.
That was her?
Yes.
Oh, God. See, more punishment.
And somebody asked for you to bring it back. I think that right there deserves an old-fashioned...
Definitely. That's the facepalm of the week right there, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Because
Yeah.
she's the first one out of all those people on Tough Enough now to be on TV.
Yeah.
And she didn't even win. She was the first one eliminated.
She ain't even on TV yet.
First one eliminated. What the fuck? No Jeremiah. No Matt.
No, I don't know.
No
Andy?
Michelle. No 7 foot almost African American brother who we did an interview with. Big shout out to Watts. No
Reba.
Andy. No Martin.
No Miss USA?
Reba.
She was kind of bad.
Yeah. No Michelle.
No
even though
AJ.
No Michelle. Yeah, oh, yeah, seriously. No Michelle, even
No.
though she quit. but,
She's the first one to make it on TV.
As a Funkette.
Tough Enough just lost all its credibility.
It did. It really did.
But aside from the Funkasaurus, aside from the facepalm,
Yes.
aside from clearing up the stance on John, we need to get in depth in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, we
And
do.
this is going to take up the majority of the show. We apologize to y'all if you think that we run on about this. This may end up becoming a long episode as a result of this.
It will be. It may be even a
But-
two-parter at the end of the day.
The first person that they announced
On Monday.
for the Hall of Fame wasn't even the first person they announced for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
They still have not made it public on television, I believe,
No.
that Mil Mascaras is going to the Hall of Fame.
They have not.
And they announced that shit in November when they were in Mexico.
And Alberto's going to induct his uncle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's like...
Personal feelings aside about Mil, we had a big conversation about that.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I feel he does not deserve it, but JJ convinced me that, you know, it's kind of like a reverse of everybody else. Once he gets out of the ring, Mil's a legend. Always has been. So...
It's like he's trying to convince me that Mil shouldn't be in there because he's a god-awful worker. I'm like,
Yeah,
does
yeah.
Hulk Hogan ring a bell?
Yeah, exactly. So...
Just saying.
Yeah, you know. So, you know...
You know,
Mil
does Coco Beware deserve to be in there? No. Does Mil Mascaras deserve to be in there over Coco?
Yes.
Yeah. Argument over.
Yeah, that's it.
Argument over.
Yeah.
But the first person they announced on the for the Hall of Fame allows the Hall of Fame now to be rated R.
That's right.
Edge.
Yeah, and we mentioned that on whenever it was Tuesday that we did that Renegade.
Now,
Now,
do you want to start or you want me to start?
I'm just wondering why, if they are going back to Toronto next year, why why not save Edge for then? Edge and Trish in the same year.
Yeah.
Just saying. And again, this is a whole thing that comes back to Eddie Guerrero passing. Whole thing comes back to, you know, guys retiring or leaving and then they're in there the next year. No. The one person has deserved that. Shawn Michaels. Because Shawn retired for a forced retirement, if you will. And then he was put in the next year. But Shawn Michaels had put in 26 years of wrestling before that.
Exactly.
So.
I was having this conversation, ironically, with Jade earlier.
Oh, okay.
Shawn deserved to be a first ballot Hall of Famer because of the 20, almost 30 years of action
Right.
he had laid down.
Yes.
Edge has been in the WWE since 1998.
Yep.
He has maybe, and I even said this to her, I'm going to have to go back to his book and confirm. He's maybe put in about 5 years on the indies before that. So we're talking a grand total of not even 20 years. Next year, 2013, would be 20 years in the business.
Right.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon. Big time. Especially when you figure that you've got some serious legends that aren't in the Hall of Fame.
Or at least haven't been announced for this year.
True.
We do
True.
know for sure, through the people we've talked to, that Randy Savage and Elizabeth will not be this year. And that's bullshit right there.
Exactly. Exactly, because Savage deserves it over Edge.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
But I have nothing but respect for Edge.
Me too.
I am a big-time Edge head, have been since The Brood.
I was an Edgehead before it was okay to be an Edgehead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I even told Jade, I was like, have you seen The Brood stuff? She's like, no, I wasn't watching it. I was like, go on YouTube and at least YouTube The Brood entrance.
Yeah.
It's like, as big of a twitard as she is, I think she'll get a kick out of vampire coming out of the flames.
Ring of Fire, yeah.
You know, and spitting blood.
Isn't there anything on the Edge DVD on that?
Maybe, but I'm not sure.
I'm watching it so long.
But anyways, so
yeah.
Edge is definitely, as long as he doesn't go off and, I don't know, kill his family and then hang himself.
Which
he definitely was going to be going into the Hall of Fame at some point. I just don't think it should have been yet. Now, the flip side of the Edge argument is the speculation, because they haven't said who's going to induct him yet. And from my personal standpoint, there's only two people that can do it. Christian and Lita.
And if they're going to go between those two, it has to be Christian.
It has to be, but the only thing I think could stop Christian is depending on where he is in his recovery. Mm-hmm. It was like, it was kind of cool to trot him out there all injured for the Slammies because, he got injured on the show, was playing up the gimmick.
Right.
It's going to be a sad state seeing him come out there looking like that for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And depending on where Christian is in his recovery, how much of that on the Slammies was makeup and, everything. Is he, ready to come back? Could he be a surprise in the Rumble, maybe?
Maybe.
But depending on where he is, I would say go with Lita. Because he ended his career with Lita. Vicky could theoretically do it, but I don't want to see Vicky do it. Well, no one wants to hear Vicky talk for 5 seconds, let alone to give a 20-minute induction speech.
The Vicky of today, yes. The Vicky that inducted Eddie 6 years ago, that was different. Yeah.
That was different.
Yeah,
that had to be done.
Yeah. The other inductees...
yeah, and we say inductees because there's more than one. There's actually 5 of them if you want to be technical, but they're being inducted as... Four horsemen.
And according to everything I've read in the last 48 hours now since I saw Raw, it will be Flair, Arn, Tully, and Barry.
And JJ.
So
I'm going to the Hall of Fame. Cool.
Yeah. Based on that, our argument from Monday about does a certain person deserve it or not
becomes almost a moot point.
For now, invalid, but we did want to talk about it because it did come up in the house, and Double A himself said, "Dude, we need a camera right now."
Seriously, and I'm actually going to invite, I know you guys give a bunch of shit to us for having people talking in the background. I'm going to invite Double A, since he's running the camera, not to come in front of the camera, mind you, because it'll get way too crowded here.
Yeah.
But just from behind the camera, go ahead and throw your 2 cents in here and make your point once we're done making ours, so you can be the counterpoint. But the fact of the matter is,
if they had inducted the entire Horseman legacy, which goes from 1986 to 1999, that would include a guy
named Chris Benoit. We actually say his name on this channel.
We do.
We say his name quite a bit on this channel.
Yes, we do. We are going to have another viewing party for Chris Benoit.
Yes. But on his birthday.
On his birthday, not the anniversary
of his life.
Exactly.
Not on the anniversary of his death.
Because that's wrong.
Because that was tragic.
That was tragic.
But by inducting this group of the Horsemen, this 5-some that we just named, Flair, Arn, Tully, Barry, and JJ, if that is all they do, one, that puts Ric Flair in there twice. Mm-hmm. And people are already saying on the internet, well, you could tell the WWE's running out of names to induct. Ric Flair's going in there for a second time.
It's like, no.
That's a semi-valid argument.
Maybe so, but the Horsemen as a legacy deserve it. But again, it's legacy, not just one group. So,
exactly. They're in line the point. It's a legacy. Yeah. So by only putting those 5 guys in, you're eliminating Ole Anderson, who, granted, by all accounts, is a grade A douchebag.
Yeah.
But he was a founding father of the Horsemen and deserves his spot with the Horsemen. Mm-hmm. You're eliminating Lex Luger. Again, grade A douchebag, quite possibly the reason Miss Elizabeth is dead, but his footage still exists. You're eliminating Sting. You're eliminating Dean Malenko.
I think Sting, if he does get to go in, will be on his own, though. That'll be on his own.
True. But at least by inducting the legacy of the Horsemen, Sting kind of gets thrown in there right now, until such time where his contract becomes available to negotiate a Hall of Fame deal. Mm-hmm. You eliminate Malenko, who's an agent for the company.
Maybe he'll be the one to induct the Horseman.
That's my speculation right there already. Mm. You eliminate Mongo. You eliminate Pillman.
Now, the question is, because Double A himself, not our Double A, but Arn Anderson, has said that Jeff Jarrett, never a Horseman. That was WCW created.
Yes.
So, if the legacy would go in, does that include Jeff Jarrett or not?
Yes, just like it would include Paul Roma.
Well, Paul Roma, they actually, believe it or not, they did pick Paul Roma because
I know.
At the time, Paul Roma had potential.
But all these names are being left out, including Chris Benoit. And, like we said, the whole argument is this is a legacy, not one group. It would be like, I guess it would be like inducting the NWO and only putting in Hogan, Hall, Nash, or even Hogan, Hall, Nash, and Six.
Right.
But not paying any respect to Macho, DiBiase, Vincent, the Giant,
Bischoff.
all other 500 members of the roster except for like Diamond Dallas Page. He was the only one that never turned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously, there were a ton of guys in the New World Order, and if you're going to induct the NWO, you need to respect all those guys, even the ones that were bullshit.
So you're saying Stevie Ray should be a WWE Hall of Famer?
Inducted by Booker.
God damn it.
Actually, I think Harlem Heat should be in the Hall of Fame.
There you go. That I'll buy. So you're saying Virgil should be a Hall of Famer?
Only
Horace Hogan? Masa Chono? The
it is what it is.
The Great Muta should be.
It is what it is. It is what it is. I made my argument the other day.
Disco Inferno.
Now, just for the counter argument, we're going to turn it over to Double A, who's going to give his opinion as to why Chris Benoit does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Double A, the microphone's yours.
Okay, first of all, I do think he will be going in, not anytime soon, but I do think he will be going in, and the only reason why I don't believe he deserves to go in is because how he went out, man. It's like, you killed your wife, your baby, and yourself, and you expect everybody to be like, okay, go on in the Hall of Fame. No, it's not like that, dude. But personally, I've even stated this before. I mean, you've heard Vince McMahon say, okay, you're not going to hear us mention his name anytime at all on WWE television or on our DVDs or anything like that. Less than 5 years after he did it, he's featured on the Best of SmackDown, right? They didn't mention his name, but you clearly see his face. Then a year later, you see him on the Best of the Elimination Chamber, and they say his name numerous amount of times because every time he comes off the top rope or goes for a crossover, here comes Benoit. You hear it.
Right.
So, I think when they do put Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame, and this is strictly my opinion and my opinion only, it will probably be after Vince passes on the reins to either Trips, Stephanie, or Shane.
Okay.
Because he's keeping to his word. Now, whoever takes on the lineage after that is strictly up to them.
Right. And we had argued back with Double A that, there will be very few, well, actually there'll be quite a few, edicts that Vince lays down that, all right, it's your company now, but keep it this way. But then again, Vince Sr. laid down edicts for Vince Jr., and Vince Jr. said, all right, Dad, you got it, and then took over the whole role. So,
it's all a valid point.
It is. It really is.
I honestly feel, and like I said, we argued this point back and forth on Monday night.
For an hour.
But I honestly feel that the only way Chris Benoit will ever get his spot in the Hall of Fame is if a non-McMahon connected person buys the WWE
outright.
Whether it's a corporate merger like a Time Warner AOL deal, or WWE just falls on hardships and, somebody, maybe a major stockholder, like just for shits and giggles, say a Ray, who has stocks, is able to pony his money from stocks into buying the company. That's the only way I could see it happen, because then it becomes essentially a fan-owned company, and it's like, okay, I may not like what happened the last 72 hours of this guy's life, but I respect everything he did in that 20 by 20. Next year at the Hall of Fame, we're putting him in.
Right. Makes sense.
But as long as Hunter's running the company, as long as Stephanie's running the company, I don't see it happening. Even once Vince lays down his final resting place or he sells out, whatever the case may be, I don't see it happening.
All right. Well, that was a lot calmer than I thought it was going to be.
What do y'all think? Do you think that the Four Horsemen should be inducted as the fivesome of Flair, Arn, Tully, Wyndham, and JJ? Or do you think the Horsemen, in their entire legacy, everybody who has ever been a member,
and yes, that means Sid, and yes, that means Roma, and yes, that means
Deborah.
It means yeah, Deborah and Miss Elizabeth. There we go. Let's get it that way. There you go.
It means Nancy
And Chris, both. There you go.
Or do you think it should be the fivesome? What do you think? And do you think
because
Benoit has a spot in the Hall of Fame
down the road? Yeah.
And what will it take for him to get there? Let us know. Put video comments, post word comments, whatever you got to do. Let us know.
I've been toying with this now that we discovered new technology in our new computers. If you guys send in video comments, we may just splice them in.
Yeah.
And put them out there for the world to see. So let us know. And we'll try to get that out there as much as possible. And thank you all. Now that we've got the serious shit out of the way, get a little levity back in here.
Yes, yes.
Thank you all so much for the last 365 plus days. Almost 366 because we had a leap year. We love you guys. You guys have been so supportive, especially to me, venturing off into Neverland, essentially, after being with a channel for 10 years. Almost 10 years this year I would have been with them. And I ventured out into the great unknown when I came to this channel. And the guys here in D18 took me in like I was one of their own from the get. And I have been allowed to flourish, been allowed to speak my piece, been allowed to, do my own thing finally. And granted, whatever the situation was with my old employers and whatever it is now, I am having fun, and I've had fun this year, and I'm enjoying myself again, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. And I cannot thank you 2,000 plus subscribers, all you guys that watch the shows, and all you guys that come out to the shows, the indie shows, and to shake our hands and thank us so much. As a matter of fact, the King thing last night, I ran into, I forget his name, I can't remember his name, but that short, stocky black guy always wears the backwards baseball cap. He came out to the Kings thing. He's going to be a Raw Monday.
Oh, okay.
Like, dude, get ready to see him, man. I'm like, I'll be there. We'll be there pre-show, but we'll be there.
Exactly.
It's guys like that make my heart just flutter.
Exactly.
So
and
cool.
The workers, too, because I can't tell you how many of the guys on the indie circuit have come up to us and been like, yo, big fan of your show.
Gotta be on it. Freaking, how long did Suave and Cross bug us to be on this show?
Seriously, and we still need to get Suave. We're looking at you, Suave.
We're looking at you, Suave. We're making it happen.
But one more time, I'm going to give a shout out to all the fans and the workers and everything. We will see y'all at the Honda Center next week. I'm the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams.
I am Jeff Meacham. We are the Dads of Wrestling.
And thank you once again to Double A.